Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review, and to continue my theme of doing Disney films, we're going to be discussing the classic 1942 film, Bambi. I know, to quote the line in one of my other favorite baseball films, The Satellite, that wimpy deer. You know, of course, this is also the second shortest film in the Disney universe behind Dumbo. It's only like 70 minutes long, and Dumbo being like 65 or 66 minutes long. So this is like the second fastest film. Of course, this is a movie that a lot of parents, are heartbroken about, because this film blows it in your face on how to explain the kids' death, pretty much. Really don't know the story of Bambi. Is, of course, is about a newborn deer, and it's Bambi's experiences. And of course, they named it Bambi. I don't know how in the world they found the name, but because there's no explanation why the deer was named Bambi instead of something else. Anyway, that's one of my little nitpick of the film. Anyway, the mother, it's not clear that the new prince of the forest, I mean, it's the king of the forest, the king of the deers, or the leader of the deers, is the father of Bambi, which you don't really have the relationship between Bambi and the father, except maybe towards the end of the film, which we'll get to. But mostly the relationship, at least the first half of the film, is the relationship between Bambi and his mother, and you have to be and it teaches him how careful you have to be in the forest, and always trying to find out why. There's one particular scene where they're on this meadow and they run off, and Bambi says, "Oh, how come? How come we had to leave?" And Mary Mother says, "Because man is in the forest, and we have to be careful if man or humans are in the forest. Even though you never really see the humans, man in the forest, because there always men in the forest to hunt deers." And the man explains, "Look, if we see man, they're going to try and kill us, so we have to get out of here." Even though Bambi's mother never really says that. And of course, that's the scene that everybody talks about in Bambi, which I'm surprised that all these years the parent groups don't make a stink over it. And then, of course, the scene where Bambi's mother dies, and they said, "Bambi, get out of here!" And things like during the middle of winter time, and of course, all you hear is the gunshots. And of course, Bambi made it to their little cave, and they realized the mother wasn't there. And then he looks around and says, "Mother!" And then that's when Bambi's father comes along and says, "Your mother can't be with you anymore." That's pretty much how Disney explains death to people, or to kids. And of course, when it comes to spring, that's when Bambi is about like twice the size, two or three times the size that it was at the time the mother was killed. And then, of course, one of the funniest scenes in the whole film is how the owl, what we call Mr. Owl in the film, how he explains love. When you feel love for a girl, first you gotta start to get weak in the knees, and you go, whoo, you get excited and all that stuff. My father always tells me when he first saw Bambi, when they had that particular scene, all the parents were roaring at how it was explained to the kids. And then, of course, one by one, Bambi and his two friends, Thumper the rabbit and of course Flower the skunk. For some reason he was never called a skunk, in the film. Because when they first introduced Flower in the film, and all that, and Thumper was trying to explain to Bambi, "Oh, that's not Flower, that's a little," and Flower cuts him off. I said, "Oh, you can call me Flower if you want to." and and of course he also had the famous sequence with the ice skating sequence with Bambi and Thumper on the ice. And of course, only when they're older, when they start falling in love with the significant others in the film, that's when you had man come into the forest again, the second time, and of course you had the famous fire sequence. But just before the fire sequence, that's when you have Bambi fighting with another deer for Florine's affections, which is Bambi's girlfriend. And of course, you had that sequence. Of course, at the end, when Bambi gets everybody out, and when the king of the forest tries to get everybody out, including Bambi, and he says, "Bambi, get up, Bambi, get up, you stupid deer, get up." And maybe I say stupid deer, but he says, "Come on, Bambi, get up," and he gets him out. And of course, where they ended the film was, of course, when Bambi has little baby Bambis, for me, and that's pretty much how the film ends. I know it's a pretty quick review, but in 2006, once again, Disney decided to screw the original fans of the original film by making a sequel, a direct-to-movie sequel called Bambi II. And wow, big stretch calling it Bambi 2. But the thing that stinks with this story is that it does not pick up at the end of the original film, which it should have had. Well, the cover gives you a hint of pretty much where they pick up this film from. They pick it up for when Bambi's mother dies, and Bambi's father decides to take on the responsibility of raising Bambi. They give Bambi hints of how to sense man in the forest, and how to sense trouble, and that type of thing. That's what pretty much what the story is in Bambi 2. And this is how bad this movie is. I only saw this thing once. But that's pretty much what the story is. It picks up right when Bambi's mother dies, and it says when the father teach Bambi all the little nuances and how to detect things in the forest. Listen to the forest. And Bambi's father, I don't know who voiced Bambi's father in the original film, but in this sequel it was Patrick Stewart. Yes, Captain Picard, for all you Star Trek fans Star Trek Next Generation fans out there, was the voice of Bambi's father in this film. I told you with Bambi, it is one of the it gets really more iconic films, but especially the sequence when Bambi's mother dies. I think that's the one thing that and the ice skating sequence are really the two things that most people remember from Bambi, at least in the last generation or so. But it doesn't make it into a bad film. It does really talk directly to the children. It doesn't talk down to kids like a lot of Disney films do. Because a lot of the Disney, at least recent Disney films, they are still about making general references to what's currently going on in the world at the time the movie comes out. Like in Atlanta, for example. But or in Hercules. But in Bambi, they don't talk down to the kids. And like I said, they explain how death was, and explain what love was. And that's what makes the movie work out. For me. So if you ever get a chance to see Bambi or watch it with your kids, get a chance to. I don't know I believe it recently came out on Blu-ray. I don't know if it's still out on the market because Disney likes to have the DVDs out for like a year or two, and then they put it back into the quote-unquote Disney vault, and I have it in for a while, 10 months, or for not 10 months, 10 years or so, and then they re-release this. Oh, we're going to release Bambi on Blu-ray or something, or in 10 years for the next new thing is in home media, home film videos, have it come out and all that stuff. But in terms of the film, is that the film is really, really does explain stuff to kids very well. And even though probably if it's a 4 or 5-year-old kid, maybe it would be too young for them to really watch this film because of the death of Bambi's mother. They probably get upset over that. But in terms of if they're a little bit older, if you know your kids well, you probably be able to then watch a scene like that. But I'm going to review Bambi and Bambi 2. Like I said, Bambi 2, even though I kind of panned it, but it's most of the direct-to-video sequels for a lot of Disney films are all mostly pretty bad. It's mostly for what Disney to make more money of the original stories. But the only ones that I have seen fall out that's not bad is Little Mermaid 2 and Pocahontas 2. Those two films I really kind of like. But in terms of Bambi 2, it is okay. I'm not saying it's not a god-awful film, but like I said earlier, my big complaint is that it does not pick up from where the original film leaves off. At least some of the other direct-to-video sequels that Disney has made in the early to mid 2000s, most of them pick up from where the last one left off. But not Bambi 2. That's one of the things like at least the ones that I've seen. That's the only one that did not pick up right where the last one had left off. And that's why I give it not like a review on it, because of that particular reason. Now, if they did that with the original Bambi film, have the father teach Bambi, well, that film might last another 15 or 20 minutes. Maybe like almost an hour and a half film. If they did that in the original movie, but I guess for time restraints, and also the original Bambi did come out during the middle of World War II at the time, so I guess maybe because of the budget they couldn't put that particular storyline in. So you have to wait like 60 years to put, or over 60 years to put that particular storyline in and make it one film. But then again, they should put this stuff in the original film to begin with. That way, maybe people won't make fun of Bambi all that much, like they did in the movie, in the original Sandlot movie. But in terms of the film itself, I think it's, or Bambi 2, I think it's could have been better. It definitely could have been better. Well, like I say, the original Bambi is the classic, and it is, the original Bambi is the second Disney film they actually bought. My family and I actually bought. Film was they did previously was Lady and the Tramp, and Bambi was the second one. And the third one is probably the one they're going to be doing next, which is The Little Mermaid, which is a little bit controversial. At least they had a controversial scene in it, which I want to get to, if and when I ever get to it. So let's maybe review Bambi. Please click the video. Please rate it. Please feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel up above, and feel free to link this video onto your Facebook pages, because I might get as many views as possible. I'm still upset over the fact that a lot of my videos don't even have 5 views on. I can understand why. I mean, I have almost 30 subscribers, and a lot of them don't even watch. They don't even have 10 views in some of my videos. So please watch my other videos. Please take the time to watch them, as if you haven't done so yet. What's wrong with you if you haven't done so yet? So I'm going to catch you next time, and catch you next time.